Hello, everybody. Welcome to our final Lit Minds session of the summer. I can't believe we've reached this point. Thank you to everybody who's watched thus far, and we're really delighted to have everybody here tonight. We have some really special guests with us this evening, but before I get to them, I would like to express my gratitude that we are able to gather tonight virtually on the shared traditional unceded territories of the Squamish Nation and the Lil'wat Nation. We've been so lucky to have these conversations on these territories for the past however many weeks. So thank you for joining us. I'm Jeanette, by the way. Hey, I'm the program coordinator from Whistler Public Library. And in case you have never seen this program before, I'll let you know that it's presented in partnership with the Whistler Youth Center, Luna Whistler, and Whistler Public Library. And the last couple of sessions have been sponsored by the Whistler RCMP detachment, and we're very grateful for their support. Now, you may know how these sessions work, but we have a few extra guests tonight, so I'm just going to give you a little rundown of how the session is going to work. So first of all, in a minute, I am going to introduce our first guest, who is Corporal Nathan Miller. He's a member of the Community Engagement Committee with the RCMP. And after we hear a little bit from Nate about some community policing programs, we are then going to welcome our other guests. We have outreach workers, Sharada and Lisa Coulter from Whistler Community Services Society. They're going to talk to us for a little bit. And then, of course, we have Greg McDonnell here, as always. And so Greg and I will sort of tag team some questions for Lisa and Sharada. We are also, of course, taking questions from you guys. So there are two ways to ask questions, as always. So if you're watching us on YouTube, you can use the YouTube chat box to ask questions for any of our guests tonight. Or you can use Slido, and Slido is totally anonymous. So if you feel like maintaining your anonymity when you ask your question, you can use Slido. The link is in the YouTube chat, so you can find it there. We are monitoring YouTube and Slido, so we will get to your questions as long as you ask them during the live recording, which is right now up until 9:30. Okay, I think that's all our housekeeping. So I'm going to invite our first guest, Nate Miller, to unmute himself and to tell us a little bit about community policing in Whistler. Hello, Nate.
Hey guys, how are you?
So good to have you.
Good to be here. I'm happy for it. It's good. Excited. So I'm Nate Miller, corporal with the community engagement team, which is a pretty new position for Whistler. What it essentially is community policing. So I reach out to all the schools, provide some good educational chats from preschool all the way to high school, talks on drugs, sexting, all that kind of stuff, drinking and driving, all those initiatives. And I work with the communities, the different agencies as WCSS, the library, any pretty much community event that's going to be happening in town. I'll have a part of organizing what extra police resources would be needed, and working with all the partnerships and the municipality to ensure that the events are policed appropriately, and the resources aren't taken away from the community at the expense of policing those events. So some of the things we're working on right now, for the last 6 months or so, a lot of mental health initiatives. One, we've been working with the various agencies in town, especially with the CATS Amsterdam Foundation. And we're looking at, right now we're looking at stats for the last 3 years on situations that deal with suicide deaths or suicide ideations, or any alcohol or drug related deaths, and trying to determine how we can best work better with our community agencies, and effectively deal with those huge problems. A second one that we have a little bit more forward motion on right now is a situational table, and we've been partnered with WCSS with that. We've actually got the grant money back in 2019, and we were going to start rolling out training for that, but of course the pandemic hit and put everything on hold for that right now. So essentially what that is looking at social issues opposed to criminal issues. So we're going to be working with House Sound Women's Society, Whistler Bylaw, MCFD, Whistler Public Library, Whistler Blackcomb Vale House Advisors, or their outreach team, are some of the various agencies that have come on board so far. And what that would be is we'd have like monthly meetings and determine anyone from those various agencies can bring forward an individual who they think might be in crisis. And then we would split off and determine which agencies might best be able to help that individual and get that person help, rather than responding to the same call 2 or 3 times a week and just always going to could be a person who's calling the suicide outreach line every night, and the police are going to their house to determine their mental health. Or maybe it's someone dealing with homelessness in the community, and Whistler bylaws are always going to someone camping out in the bush and leaving garbage, that kind of thing. So so that's some of the programs we're working on right now. Something we haven't done yet, but we're going to be working with WCSS in the next week or two, is going to be walking around with Lisa or Dan with their outreach team, and getting a better kind of understanding of what maybe some of the social or society issues that our homeless are dealing with, so we can get more of a well-rounded approach and help better kind of deal with those situations. Try to work on like how helping those clients kind of get the help they need, and obviously making sure that they're respectful of the common areas in Whistler as well, so everyone can enjoy those, obviously the beautiful community we live in. And one last thing I'll quickly touch base on is we are rolling out right now an RCMP campaign that's called A Safe Space. And obviously everyone that lives in Whistler, we're really proud of the diverse and safe place that we do live in, regardless of the gender, sex orientation, or physical appearance. So we're reaching out to other businesses who obviously share the same mindset. And in the program, all it is the businesses who sign up will literally put a rainbow, it's like an RCMP crest sticker in their window. And anyone who's feeling in the LGBT community who's feeling harassed, or maybe they've been a victim of crime, can kind of have a safe haven in that storefront and call the police, and then they wait there, and then we'll come help them out. So a couple of things we've been working on right now, and yeah, you'll see us out a lot more, maybe in uniform, maybe not, but yeah, I'm Nate from the community engagement team. So any concerns, if it's anything you think of, reach out to the detachment. If it's traffic problems, if it's you want me to come talk to the schools or deal with anything like that, reach out to the RCMP detachment.
Well, hey, Nathan, I just wanted to thank you so much for all of that. And wow, that situational table, I really like that idea. It sounds like CNN, the Situation Room. And, but I think it's really the right direction to be going, to get these multi-agency kind of approach to handle some of these tough circumstances. So the outreach workers aren't out there alone, the RCMP aren't out there alone working in silos, everyone's kind of working together. And I just love the idea of that. Thanks for sharing all that.
Yeah, I'll echo that, what Greg said. And, it sounds like the kind of through line for all of your programs are that you really are making an effort to work with community organizations. And what I'm hearing is taking the focus away from sort of a punitive justice and moving towards more of a restorative justice, helping people get help. with whatever issues they may be dealing with, rather than punishing them for breaking rules, essentially.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. Well, thank you, Nate. That's so wonderful. And we'll look forward to seeing you strolling with Lisa or Dan. Nate, how do people get in touch with you?
Just call the detachment, just the regular landline, and just ask for myself. I forgot to mention too, part of our unit right now is I work closely with a constable, Bev Baker, and she deals with, she specializes in sexual assault investigations and domestic abuse. So we do have, that's under the community engagement team too. And we're going to be hopefully trying to get some youth workers that'll be in the school as well. Yeah, that kind of thing. So anything with that kind of related, give us a shout.
Awesome. Well, that's so great. Thank you so much, Nate, for being here tonight. Now, we are going to invite our next two guests into the space. And of course, I don't think a Lit Minds session has passed without us mentioning WCSS. I'm pretty sure we have mentioned you guys in every single video. And so it's so great to finally have you here. Sharada and Lisa, take it away.
Thanks, Jeanette. We're really excited to be here, and thank you so much for always including us in Lit Minds. It's wonderful, and I know all of us have had the chance to be able to see many of the videos, so it's been great. As you said, I'm Sharada Clayton, and I've been a Whistler for about 17 or 18 years now. I've lost count. I originally, like a lot of people, came here on a trip and then never left. I've now been married and with 3 kids and working with Whistler Community Services as an outreach worker. My background goes back to living in Toronto and being a child and youth worker there. So this has always kind of been my passion. And more of my focus was around children and teenagers suffering with mental health issues. From there, obviously, I moved here. Had a lot of fun, did a lot of different things here, a lot of different jobs, and got back into social services 2 years ago with Whistler Community Services. That's me in a little bit of a nutshell. Lisa, do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Sounds good. Hi, everyone. Thanks for, again, including us into this. Stoked to be a part of this. So I have been with WCSS about just 2 years roughly now. Been in Whistler for about 4 and a bit, and did the classic came for the winter, stayed for the summer, started getting into sort of social service work and kind of hooked on it now. So I'm stoked to be in this role and great to kind of connect. And as Nate mentioned, being in the community has been awesome. So whoever's watching, hope to see you around. If you ever want to walk around the village, let me know. So Sharada and I wanted to kind of go into a little bit of detail as to what Whistler Community Services Society is, a little bit of our history, and then some of the different services and programs that we can offer in the community, and hopefully really just connect above everything else. So WCSS has actually been around for 31 years. So it was founded in 1989. So yeah, 31 years ago. Started pretty small as just outreach and food bank, and has grown substantially since then. We've been in a few different locations now. So 1, 2, upwards of 5 different locations, and currently at have 2 main locations of on Nesters Road and in Function. So between the social services and Reuse It Center and Rebuild It Center. And we're stoked to still be going strong.
And I guess the other thing that we want to recognize is that through this pandemic, as a lot of people experienced, lots of changes have happened. And Lisa's going to go into it a little bit more about our social enterprises, but really we want to say thank you to the community and everyone out there The donations that were raised and brought into WCSS was amazing, and we've been able to continue our services all through the pandemic. So I really want to just say a big thank you to all the donors and fundraising efforts that have happened within the community. Because without that, we wouldn't be continuing our services, like our social enterprises.
Yeah, so as Sharada mentioned, our social enterprises, so the Reuse It Center and Rebuild It Center that I'm sure many of you have either heard about or been to, really do make the bulk of our funding. So every shirt you buy from Reuse It, every little side table you buy from Rebuild It, everything goes directly back into the community. It funds all of our programs, funds Sharada and I's wages, kind of. So it really is, yeah, the enterprises really do have a true value in the organization. And a couple other social enterprises that have developed over the years that some of you may not know about is the tool lending library. So that got started within the last couple of years run out of the Rebuild It Center, and really came from, it can be expensive to buy brand new tools, and if we can all share them, then why not? So it's great to have that enterprise available. We also have a refundable recycling program. So you may have seen some of the bins around town. So you can be donating your empties that you don't want to bring back. And we actually collect those and get some profit from that as well to fund all of our programs as well. And another sort of big part of our organization is food security. So I mentioned earlier about the food bank, but Sharada is going to go into a bit more detail as to what that means as well.
Definitely. So our food bank is obviously one of our bigger programs that we run. Currently, we are running out of the conference center here in Whistler on Wednesdays and Fridays from 11 to 2. And we also have an outreach worker there. So Lisa or Dan are both there, available to connect with anyone that needs to chat. But it also provides food for anyone in need in Whistler. We do find that pre-pandemic, I guess I could say, our number one reason a lot of folks used it was due to injury or illness. And, you know, that's obviously a big issue, right? You know, you're having a good time, you get injured, and all of a sudden you're out of work and you realize, oh my gosh, you can't pay for rent, and all these other things come up. So we just really encourage people to come and chat with us, or even just, you know, show up and if you need it. We ask just a few minor questions. Other than that, it is there for everyone to use in Whistler. One of our other food securities is our school lunch program, which has been a great success. It's changed a little bit over the last year, but what we've been able to do is connect with all of our schools here in Whistler and provide a free, accessible, either lunch or snack item for all of the kids within elementary school to right up to high school. So that's Myrtle Phillip, Spring Creek, Waldorf, Coa Passerelle, and the high school. Am I missing? No, I think I've got everyone. And so what we've been able to do is provide a fridge right there within the school, and that way kids can access it whenever they need to. And there's no shame about it. And make sure that every child gets fed. Because obviously we all know that food is so important to getting through school and not being hungry. Another one of our food securities is on a regular basis, or on a regular time, is our community fridge. And so at our location at Nesters Road, 8000 Nesters Road, downstairs in our main area, we usually have a community fridge that's there. It's accessible to anyone, and we generally have donations from around the community, and we're able to provide different things like muffins or fruits and veg. Anything else that I'm missing there?
Whoa,
Don't
whoa,
think
whoa,
so.
whoa. Community fridge. So anyone can just rock up
Buddy.
and open up the fridge and have a muffin.
Exactly.
Isn't that
We-
cool? I
we-
love that idea. That is so
Yeah.
sweet.
Yeah, we want to be able to, you know, we do get a lot of donations from around town, the grocery stores, different restaurants, that sort of thing, coffee shops, and we want to be able to provide it for anyone that that needs it, and to be able to provide it in a way that is accessible, right? And so having this fridge just there for anyone to use, we like to be able to offer that. Lastly is our food skills and nutrition program. And that is a chance for folks from around town to participate and learn about different or learn new food skills. So things like learning how to just maybe cook a basic meal, maybe do some canning, or maybe learn about farming, or learning about different food ideas and food topics, and also nutrition, learning about what's healthy to eat. And so being able to provide that to folks, they can come to, we usually have quite a few sessions running, and they're able to learn some new information. Next, Lisa's going to talk about our programs. We have a lot of programs, but Lisa can talk about it because so many of it reaches so many different parts of the demographic. Lisa, do you want to take it away?
Thanks, Sharada. Yeah, so as Sharada mentioned, we really do have a ton of different programs that we offer. And one thing that we really pride ourselves on is we can adapt those programs pretty quickly and more so that fit the needs of the community. So we're listening to what the needs are and kind of adapting them as we go along. One need that we have identified is parenting and kind of family overall support. And so we do have programs for expecting parents and new parents. We'll be launching in the fall, all different age groups of parenting support groups as well, which will be great.
I might just jump in, Lisa. I'm just going to comment that, I think that is one of the great opportunities of Whistler Community Services, just to be able to, act so quickly and nimbly in a responsive way. And of course, it takes a lot of great community partners that I'm sure Whistler Community Services has to pull that off. But to be able to respond to community needs in a really quick way, whether it's during a pandemic or whether it's through like just an emerging, changing community need. I've always felt WCSS has been there really quickly, and I love that some of these programs that you and Sharada are commenting on are just an example of that.
Yeah, thanks, Greg. Yeah, I appreciate that for sure. And it does come down to it takes a community to kind of make these programs happen as well. Like we really do rely on those partnerships as well, and listening to people more so than anything, right? Of like Whistlerites are the ones that are going to know what needs to change and such. And actually we do a lot of work with north of Whistler as well. So, but yeah, just listening to what the needs are and having that ability to create new programs has been amazing for sure. Yeah. We do a lot of work with kind of newcomers to Whistler. And so kind of the general new influx of folks that come in roughly November and April for the season. So we have different programs such as Connect Whistler, which is a week-long events, a week of events in November. And we also publish the survival guide that comes out yearly as well. That's a whole wealth of different knowledge of broken down by subdivisions in Whistler, all the different resources, like where to buy where to do your laundry, kind of a Whistler 101 of what you need to know. And also have programs, as Sharada was mentioned, for different demographics. So more than just for parents, we do programs for our older folks in town as well. So providing program or
Activate and Connect.
Activate and Connect, thank you, Sharada. A program called Activate and Connect for kind of our older demographic in town, and working with Mac on that as well. And I'll let Sharada kind of go into a different stream of programs that we offer as well.
Definitely. So one of the other areas, I guess I could say, is just looking at the physical health. Obviously we want to, when we're taking care of ourselves, and what WCSS really is passionate about is making sure that, we're a healthy community, right? And that's part of our vision and our mission. And that is to be taking care of everyone as much as we can. So one of the programs we offer is a concussion support group, which is connected with a clinical counselor, Ashlyn Tipper, and physio support as well. And so it allows folks to be able to connect with the group, or join the group, for 8 weeks session, and just really discuss all of the different situations or issues that might come up if someone's had a concussion, and how they can get that support that they need. Because it can be sometimes a pretty challenging road. Another thing that we've introduced is our physio assistance program, where we can help support those in need of physio assistance with getting that support and being able to get the physical help and health that they need in order to recover from an injury or an accident. And lastly is our plate credit, which is connected with the Resort Municipality of Whistler and Meadow Park. And we can provide a credit of $135. And anyone interested can connect with an outreach worker for any of these programs that I've just talked about to learn more about it and fill out an application and join those groups. Lisa, do you want to talk to everyone about our mental health?
Sounds good. So the mental health support that we provide in the community through our outreach team is probably one of the main supports that our outreach team can offer. And I guess what an outreach worker is, in a nutshell, is someone that's going to create a safe, confidential, non-judgmental listening space. Really let you know about the different resources in the community, provide that emotional support. So we really do support folks in kind of a little bit of anything and everything. So it can be, feelings of anxiety or feeling kind of ups and downs in emotions, can be relationship challenges, can be housing challenges, and I wish that we could provide you with housing, but what we can do is kind of let you know of the different housing options available, kind of help with creating posts, like social media posts about housing, legal support as well, that we'll go into in a little bit. But yeah, kind of that is what an outreach worker does. So kind of what Sharada and I and our team provide, and
also I would just jump in, just really about, being that non-judgmental person who can really be there for you, to listen to you. Sometimes it's really nice to be able to talk to a stranger and not have to, have so much else added. And I think that, one of our slogans is "You talk, we listen," and that's exactly what we do. Sorry, just jumping in there, Lisa.
No, not at all. Yeah, that's you got it exactly right. Of just, we really are just there to listen and be that support for you, and it does stay anonymous too with us of what you're sharing. Another way that we provide mental health support in the community is that we do have a subsidized counseling program. So we work with several different clinical counselors in town and can offer a subsidized rate for that if folks need or wanting to access that, because it would, if you need that support, we hope to break down that barrier of financial situation standing in the way of getting that. We also have kind of talked about it before in terms of parenting group, but we do offer programs such as pregnancy and infant loss support groups. And we also have a harm reduction program, so we can do on the spot naloxone training and do group trainings as well to, whether it's for yourself or for others that might be at risk of opioid overdoses, so we can provide that. We do have a whole bunch of different mental health support, but just to kind of give you the highlights and not to have too much repetition, those were sort of the ones I wanted to mention. And then another one that we do offer is Alphabet Soup, and that's run in partnership with quite a lot of folks that are part of this session tonight. But that's for our LGBTQ+2S community and their friends and their allies of providing that just comfortable space as well. And yeah, Greg, did you have something to add there?
Yes, Lisa, I just wanted to, I mean, these are program after program after program. This is fantastic, just hearing the cascade of opportunities for community members. And I will comment that our lovely tech background people, wizards, have posted the Worcester Community Services link on the YouTube, as it's known. And so you can check out more of the programs there. Also, Lisa, I wanted to comment. You were talking about the sort of the role of outreach and what is an outreach worker, and it got me thinking of a very famous scholarly article that was written by Carl Rogers, 1950s. This is ages ago, but this PhD psychologist argued that the this is his language, the necessary and sufficient conditions for therapeutic personality change. That was the title of the article, the necessary and sufficient conditions of therapeutic personality change. And what he found those conditions to be was really one thing: authentic human connection. So he kind of argued in a very tactful way that you could throw out all the psychobabble and all the crazy theories and therapies that you could utilize working with people, and all you needed was that one thing: is authentic human connection. And I think that happens through outreach, and I think our community is so lucky to have. How many outreach workers are there now?
So there is currently 4 of us. So
okay.
Sharada and myself, and Dan Knox and Carla Royal are the other 2.
And then when you the house advisors, and they have an outreach program, and the zero ceiling outreach workers, like, our community is now becoming really robust in this idea of sort of outreach or reaching out to provide these services, which, gee, we're so lucky to have that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess one thing we haven't mentioned is that our outreach workers, between the 4 of us, we're available 6 days a week. So Monday through Saturday, 9 to 4:30. And you can connect with us either in person, phone, email, text, or virtual as well. Because of course, we are working remotely, as well as starting to do a little in person, back now in the office again. And through our website, you can also book appointments with us. Go ahead, Lisa.
I was just gonna say it's great as well to have that kind of flexibility of being able to meet sort of on the phone or Zoom or in person, and comes back to kind of tailoring needs of the community. So hopefully that never is a barrier for anyone wanting to connect, that there is like tons of different ways to do so.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Yeah. One of the last areas that we have in terms of programs is the financial area, which of course can be a struggle at times. And one of our programs is called Access Justice, and that connects you with legal advice from a local lawyer here in town. So if you are needing, having questions, we can help support you get that legal advice that you might need. The other big program, also in partnership with the library and the Whistler Welcome Center, is our income tax clinic, which usually obviously happens every year between sort of February, March, a little bit of April. And we're able to have community volunteers, which have been amazing. They've really come out and been able to share so much of their time and expertise in terms of just helping folks complete their income taxes. We usually ask basic income tax, so nothing too elaborate because of course they are community volunteers, but being able to help folks who need that support. Another one of our financial programs is our kids grants. Sorry, got tongue-tied there. And we've got a few of them. We've got the Camp Fund, Kids on the Move, and Kids Art. All three of those provide financial support to families looking to be able to have their children involved in different activities here in Whistler. And then lastly is our holiday hamper. So again, being able to provide support to have families get that extra special little things that they may need over the holidays, the winter holidays, and be able to, provide some support with them. And again, it is about connecting with an outreach worker so you can talk about what is going on, what your family may need, and how we can best support you. Anything to add there, Lisa? Have I missed anything?
No, I think, you did a really good job of laying out kind of the financial support that we can provide. And obviously food bank falls into that criteria as well. And more so that even if it's something like that, we can't actually provide you with a subsidy or with money or like an actual financial lump of something, that we can help maybe like get creative on other ways in your life that you could be getting those finances, like referring to other agencies that maybe can help financially, or like looking at kind of your individual situation and kind of help you emotionally figure it out financially as well.
I think it's
Definitely.
really,
And I think also the thing to remember is that Sea to Sky is huge in the sense that there's just so many different programs here. And I think sometimes because it's expanded so much that not everyone knows about all the little community organizations and how each one can help you in a different way. And that's how us as outreach workers can provide that support and that extra resource to be able to connect you and say, hey, you know what, actually, if you connect with Natalie at Work BC, she'll be able to help you connect with a job, or, someone over at House Sound Women's Center, that sort of thing.
I can certainly speak to working at the library and how often we refer people to community services. And I mean, I think what Sharada and Lisa have just outlined, I mean, what an incredible array of programs and services. It's really incredible. I think you mentioned every age group and every life stage and every facet of adulting. It's pretty incredible how many services you either offer or you can connect community members with. I'm wondering, because I know that you both know that our audience includes some young folks, some teenagers and some young adults. Would they call an outreach worker to access any of those services? Is that how you would recommend them getting the process started?
Yeah, for sure. So I guess, are you wondering like if someone's young and doesn't feel comfortable reaching out? Is that?
Sure.
Yeah. Sounds good. So yeah, as outreach workers, we really do pride on being a low barrier service through Whistler Community Services. So all ages, absolutely, we're happy to chat with them. Over the course of the summer, we did have a program that was called Quarantines, and that was actually specifically designed for the teens in the community. And so definitely any ages, feel free to reach out. We'll work with you on figuring out what resource works for you. If it's something that would require a parent consent, we'll chat about that at that point and figure that out with you. But yeah, all kind of ages for sure welcome to connect. I'd say our general clientele seems to be probably young adults to older adults, but every day is a little bit different. So can really vary in who's reaching out.
And Sharada and Lisa, you spoke well about what outreach work is. I'm just wondering, can you talk about the stage at which you might refer people out?
Definitely. So oftentimes, if it's, so let's say, an example, someone's come to us and they are feeling anxious. They may be not sure of what emotions are going on within them. What we'll do is we'll chat with them, listen to what's going on, and decide with that person whether this is something that can be sort of in a way taken care of by themselves. So it may be something like, let's listen, or you as the person calling in we can give you resources to say, hey, you know what, why don't you check out this website? This might be a helpful self-help tool. And so it might be something like that.
Cool.
It might be, there's a great podcast to listen to. Why don't you listen to that? This might also be helpful to you. So that might be little examples of how we would help them or provide them resource that way. Then if it comes into something focused more around mental health, we may focus it on and say, you know what, let's connect you with Vancouver Coastal Health, our mental health department here in Whistler, and we can connect you with them and they can provide additional clinical counseling support. It also doesn't even, it may not go down that road either. It may be something like I said, if someone is looking for work or looking to, let's say, work on a resume, we might then say, let's get you connected to Work BC or another resource that might be able to help them with focusing around job search or job skills. Lisa, did you want to add anything else there? Or Greg, does that kind of answer your question for you?
Totally. Yeah, no, it absolutely does. I like, in particular with the mental health piece, I think, the outreach workers kind of do the initial engagement often. And then, like you said, the referral perhaps to Vancouver Coastal Health.
It may be even sorry to interrupt, maybe something like we chat and say, are you connected with a doctor here in town? Which can be hard to do, but here you go. Here's a few list of numbers or ways to connect. Now we can do it virtually. These are things that some folks may not know about in Whistler. And so we've kind of got a great variety and list of numbers and names to be able to connect them with So yeah, connecting with a doctor. It might even be looking at something that's sort of not Western medicine, and then talking to them about, okay, how can you connect with a naturopath? How can you connect with other different resources around town? Sometimes it's just not knowing names, and if we can help you provide that, that's kind of our focus.
Yeah, just one thing I wanted to add to that as well, and that Sharada made a good point of saying, like, we do have kind of a lot of information about the different resources, but it doesn't necessarily mean like that we won't continue to connect with you as well. So it doesn't mean like you'll chat with us once and then sort of, pass you along or or anything. That that part of outreach is that connection and that ongoing support as well. So sometimes it can be intimidating to share your story with someone and then them tell you, oh, actually you're going to have to go talk to this person to share your story again, and then to this person. So we'll really continue that ongoing support if that's something that works for whoever's reaching out as well.
Can I actually just ask a fairly random question? But I know some of those funders that you mentioned, the Kelty Patrick Dennehy Foundation or the Zox Foundation. I know the one thing they really care about is reducing the stigma around mental health. Would you all believe that in your time working as outreach workers that stigma has lessened over the years?
Interesting question.
I would say in a little way, yes. I think it's great that in overall, I think people are definitely talking about it more. It's becoming a little more acceptable to say, hey, you know what? I've got emotions and I need help figuring them out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's so good to hear. And I think that we're trending in the right direction that way as a society. And I think Whistler's maybe, leading that in some degree. We're working together with several groups and getting these dialogues up the flagpole, as it were.
One thing I will say though is community Whistler's also a small town in some way, in many ways. And one of the things that Lisa talked about was that it is confidential space. And we really focus on that because it is a small town. A lot of people know each other, and we really make sure that everything is confidential and private and stays within our organization, and we don't share that anywhere else. So knowing that this is a small town and you might run into someone potentially in our office, or someone might see you talking to someone else, we are really adamant about that. So just add that in.
That's a really important addition, and often how I'll say that is you can guarantee confidentiality, but sometimes you can't guarantee anonymity, right? You might see someone in the office space, but you can guarantee that confidentiality, and I think that's really important.
I think we had a funny comment from Teresa last time, Teresa Wood, who said, if I walk past you in the village and I pretend like I don't know you, it's me observing your right to confidentiality. It's not me
Absolutely.
being a jerk.
Yeah, so true.
So I have some questions from Slido. First of which is, someone's asking, if I really need to access counseling, presumably through your assisted counseling program, how long does it take to access counseling, and how many sessions will it cover?
Yeah, it's a good question for sure. So part of, we did talk about our counseling assistance program. The first step is to meet with an outreach worker, figure out firstly if that program's actually the best fit for you. If that's determined that is the right fit, then next step would be figuring out which clinical counselor you'll be matched up with, making sure that you fit the financial eligibility. So that follows a set criteria of providing some financial proof of kind of overall income, so we can make sure you fit the criteria for that. From there, it's processing the application and then setting it up with the counselor. So kind of depends case by case. There's not like a set time. It's not like from this day, it'll be 7 days before it happens. Again, we work together. So we'll do things on our end, and then whoever is accessing needs to do a little bit of legwork as well. So it kind of depends how quickly that happens as well, and how we can get it going. But as Sharada mentioned, there is 4 of us and we work 6 days a week. So we always will do the absolute quickest that we can. Fortunately, don't really have a set answer for you in terms of a specific deadline. Usually though, a pretty quick turnaround as long as there's work done on both ends. I guess just to add to that too, we don't have a wait time to meet with us. So you can always check our availabilities from our website to book, and you'll never have like a wait listed or anything to meet with us.
Yeah, and you mentioned the social enterprise, pays your wages and all those things. But this is one example of how that the social enterprise, actually the money gets filtered right back to the community. And I think there's many programs within WCSS where that happens, promptly and quickly. And typically, how many sessions would those cover? The counseling assistance.
So the counseling assistance program is meant as a short-term program to kind of help you get to a place that you feel a little bit better about yourself. So 6 sessions would be a standard counseling assistance.
That's great. And 6 sessions follow a very industry standard of a brief and short-term model to get people quickly towards some goals of counseling and some strategies to manage whatever it is going on, so they can get back to their kind of everyday life. So it's a real industry norm. That's fantastic.
Thanks. Yeah. Thanks, Greg. And the good thing is, if that 6 sessions is kind of hasn't concluded what someone wants to conclude, then we can meet again and figure out what other options are available as well.
All right. Well, Jeanette's back with us here by the looks of things. As we begin to kind of wrap the evening up, Lisa and Sharada, what are your parting kind of commentaries and parting thoughts, the things you'd like the community to kind of know in terms of Whistler Community Services as a whole, what the mission statement is, and then obviously how you guys would like to, connect with and utilize, or connect the community members with utilizing the programs of WCSS?
I think, we are always welcoming volunteers, and we would always love for you to come chat with us, to talk about maybe the ways you'd like to participate and volunteer with Whistler Community Services. Some of the ways can be helping sorting through donations at the Reuse It Center or the Rebuild It Center, and also within our school lunch program, and of course our food bank. So again, if you're ever interested in connecting with us that way and kind of helping to give back to the community, that's definitely one way. We're always looking for support.
Sorry guys, sorry I disappeared. I have one more question from Slido and it's a quick one. So somebody was asking about the great brochure, the cool brochure that you guys do. I think they're asking about the survival guide. Will you be producing a survival guide this year, or will you be keeping things virtual?
So for this year, it sounds like it's going to be a virtual format, which is actually kind of exciting. Save the trees a little bit. But we will have more details for that shortly, but it sounds like it will be a kind of virtual format for this year.
Awesome. So follow you guys on social media, visit your website, and people will find the info.
Absolutely, yeah. So our website's probably the best resource for to find out more about us. So it's mywcss.org. And we also have a Facebook and Instagram page as well. And as Sharada said, yeah, come and chat with us, connect with us. You can book online from our website to meet with any one of our team members. And just,
or drop us an email.
Yeah. Yeah, email, text, call, just comes back to, again, like, you talk, we listen. Just here to listen, here to support, here to work with you, break down barriers, and kind of meet you where you're at and see how we can work together to make Whistler the best place it could be.
Amazing. What occurs to me tonight after hearing everything you folks offer and the range of services you provide, and also the fact that we're in these weird times, is that anyone can find themselves in a situation where they could need a hand from you folks. And so it's not just, you don't have to be in crisis necessarily to need a hand from a community resource. And I think it's a really good reminder to folks that if you just have never done your taxes before, you can help. If you want to learn more about nutrition, you guys can help. It's not just the crises, it's sort of every aspect of kind of finding your footing either in a new town or as a new adult, or just, if you've stumbled a bit and you need some help.
Yeah, or you've, all of a sudden you found out you're pregnant and you're like, holy crap, what do I do? We've got a group for that too.
I love that. Whistler Community Services Society, they have a group for that. Amazing. Well, we've only got a few minutes left. So unless, Greg, do you have any parting words for us?
Nothing totally wise, but otherwise just wanted to really thank Lisa and Sharada for all that they do for our community and all they contribute, and really thank you for joining Lit Minds this evening and sharing all that you do for us.
Thank you so much for having us on. And between Lisa and I, we've definitely thought this was a privilege. And Carla and Dan are also amazing. We have a great team, and we're so lucky to be able to work together and continue supporting this community. I know I definitely love it, and I know they can say the same. So thanks for having us on.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks.
All right, everybody, don't forget, you can follow Whistler Community Services Society on Facebook or Instagram, and they've also got a great website where you can find all of their resources. I would also like to thank our first guest again, Corporal Nate Miller, for telling us about some of the community policing efforts that the RCMP is working on, and thank you to the Whistler RCMP for supporting our last few sessions. They were really generous to sponsor this series. And I think that's it. I think, thank you to Bridget and Caroline, who have been behind the scenes for all of these sessions. Thank you to our past guests. And a big thank you to Greg for taking us through all of these sessions. I think it's that time. Thank you to everybody who has been watching, and stay tuned for more cool events from the Youth Center and Luna and Whistler Public Library. All right, have a great night, everybody.